Hello, welcome to today's lecture. And as the slide shows, it is dedicated to new topic, that is acoustics and especially architectural acoustics. In this lecture, we deal with introduction to architectural acoustics, reverberation, reverberation time, and absorption coefficient. What is architectural acoustics? Architectural acoustics is the branch of physics that deals with designing of a building or a big hall, big closed hall, for example, an auditorium. The design of such auditorium in order to secure the diffused sound to the entire audience without affecting the speech intelligibility and tonal qualities of the music. What does it mean? It means that once the hall is designed according to architectural acoustics, every audience, irrespective of its position, is eligible to listen the sound with proper tonal quality and clarity without loss of the intelligibility. Now, the example is shown in this figure. In this figure, the acoustically designed hall or auditorium is displayed. We can note the very specific design of balconies, the roof, walls, and as well as the seating arrangement. In the next coming articles, we will see the details about and the reason behind the such type of design of the hall. So, what is architectural acoustics? In architectural acoustics, we deal with the design of a big hall like auditorium so that the clarity of sound is maintained throughout the hall irrespective of the position of the listener. Now, the very important factor we have to consider while designing a big hall or auditorium, that is reverberation. In a big hall, when sound is produced, sound waves are produced. These sound waves spread and incident upon the walls, ceiling, door, floor, etc., etc. And from there, these reflects back and again incident upon the different walls or ceiling or floor, etc., and again reflect from. So, multiple reflections of sound waves are took place in a closed auditorium or in a closed hall. During a single reflection, some amount of energy is absorbed and remaining is reflected. This reflected portion moves in the hall and give rise to again multiple reflections, and in this way produce echoes, and as a result of which the sound does not stop even the source stop sounding. In other words, in a big hall there is existence or persistence of a sound even after the source of sound is stopped. Such persistence of audible sound after the source has stopped or ceased to emit the sound is called reverberation or reverberation of sound. So, what is reverberation? Reverberation is simply the persistence of audible sound after the source stop. Now, what are effects of reverberation? If reverberation is very small or in all there is no reverberation, then the tonal quality of the sound is poor and a very flat, poor sound is produced. On the contrary, if quantity of reverberation is very high, then listener is unable to distinguish between the two notes of sound, and there is a trouble in listening the sound produced in the hall. In other words, very lower reverberation and very high reverberation both are not suitable. However, a suitable quantity of reverberation is necessary in order to increase the richness of sound or tonal quality of the sound. So, in designing a big hall, acoustically good is to maintain the proper level of reverberation. Now, let us see what is the reverberation time. We observed that, we studied that the sound persists in a big hall, in a closed auditorium, even after the source stopped to emit sound, and this persistence is called as reverberation. Simply, the time during which sound persists in the hall, even after the source stopped to or ceased to emit sound, is known as reverberation time. Thus, reverberation time is the time that measured from the time that the original sound is produced to the time at which the sound becomes inaudible. So this is for a single note of sound, that when the sound is produced to time the sound is produced to the time at which sound becomes audible, okay, it is the reverberation time. But if it is a continuous speech or music or continuous note of sound, then reverberation time is the time that the source stopped sounding to the time at which sound becomes inaudible. So in this way, we can define reverberation time as the time that the original sound is produced in case of a single note of sound, or in case of a continuous note of sound, the time that the source stopped to sounding to the time at which sound becomes inaudible. Now, let us look at the important aspect to maintain the reverberation and reverberation time in a hall, and that is absorption coefficient. The well-known physicist who studied systematically the architectural acoustics in 1900 was Professor W.C. Sabin of Harvard University, USA. Since he was professor at university, his experiments were dedicated to reduce the reverberation in a lecture hall or in a lecture room of the university. For this purpose, Professor Sabin used a simple technique. He used an organ pipe emitting sound at the frequency of 512 vibrations per second, and he measured the reverberation time in the lecture hall. And he put forward few important observations. According to Professor Sabin, the reverberation time in a hall is inversely proportional to the effective absorbing surface area in the room. Now, what is this effective absorbing surface area is? that we will see in the next coming slide. So, if A is the effective absorbing surface area and capital T is the reverberation time, then T is inversely proportional to A. And the second point, T is directly proportional to capital V, where V is volume of the room. In this way, Sabin able to prove that the reverberation time in a hall depends upon two things only, that is the effective absorbing surface area in a hall or in a room, and volume of the room. It is directly proportional to volume of the room and inversely proportional to the effective absorbing surface area in the room. In this way, the reverberation time can be formulated as T equal to small k into V divided by A, where small k is the constant of proportionality. Most important to note that Sabin able to prove that reverberation produced in the hall and reverberation time are independent of positions of the source and listener in a room and shape of the room. He used the standard of absorption for the study of effective absorbing area in the room. And what is this standard of absorption is? It is simply 1 square feet of an open window. Since almost all sound energy incident upon this open window is supposed to be absorbed or simply passed out of it, so it is considered as the standard of absorption. And later 1 square feet of open window is recognized as 1 Sabin, the unit of absorption. Now, what is effective absorbing area? If S is the surface area of the absorbent material exposed to sound, he supposed to use the cushions in the lecture hall, and if S is capital S is surface area of the cushion in the hall, then effective absorbing area is small a into S, capital A equal to small a into S. Okay, so here small a is known as absorption coefficient of the material. What is this absorption coefficient of the material is? Absorption coefficient of the material is the ratio of absorption of sound energy by the given surface, as it is S in this case, to that of the equal area of a perfect absorber such as open window. That means absorption coefficient is the ratio of energy absorbed by the given surface area of the absorbing material to the energy absorbed by the equal area of the perfect absorber like open window, and it is known as absorption coefficient of the material of the absorbing surface. And this absorption coefficient multiplied by the surface area of the absorbing material, that is equal to the effective absorbing area. With this, we end to the basics of the architectural acoustics. In the next coming article, in the next coming lecture, we will deal with the important law, that is Sabin's law and its derivation. Thank you very much.